Hello all of you hellions, welcome or welcome back, whichever the case may be. So last week I jumped off of the shower curtain so that I could do a special movie for Vincent's first birthday. Today I'm going back to the curtain. For this week I'm going to be talking about the movie made in 1990, Tales from the Darkside, the movie. Here it is on the curtain. Right here, Tales from the Darkside. Anyone who has been watching my channel knows that I absolutely love horror anthologies, and this is one of them. Heads up, there will be spoilers. Here we go. The wraparound story opens on a very serene setting. It's in a nice small town. I love small towns. We have a wholesome looking woman who owns a beautiful home. But what's this? The woman has a cell in her pantry. Here we meet poor Timmy. Timmy's older brother is a paper boy who on this day is sick. Timmy took over his brother's route to help him out. And this is where he ends up. The woman, or as we find out, witch, is named Betty. Kidnapped unlucky Timmy to fatten him up and then eat. Very Hansel and Gretel. But Betty's not all bad. She was sweet enough to lend Timmy her favorite childhood book, Tales from the Darkside. Now wasn't that nice? Unfortunately for Timmy, the time has come to prep him to cook.
Let me out! What are you doing?
Just preheating to 350.
Knowing Tales from the Darkside was her favorite book and wanting to stall, Timmy convinces Betty to let him read her just one story.
Don't you want to hear a story?
Is it a love story?
Yeah. Oh, no, not really. It's about these guys. College?
Here we have Lot 249. This takes place in college. There are the wealthy students. Christian Slater plays Andy. His sister Susan is played by Julianne Moore, who is engaged to Andy's best friend Lee. And then the poor student, Edward, played by the great Steve Buscemi. I absolutely love Steve Buscemi. Whatever that man is in, he turns to gold. Edward was in an academic competition with Lee, but was unfortunately accused of stealing a fetish relic from the museum by an unknown source. By the time the community cleared him, Lee had won the competition. Come to find out, Susan had stolen the relic and wrote the paper that helped Lee win. Edward has now received Lot 249, which turns out to be a mummy. He cuts through the stitching, reaches inside, and pulls out a scroll written in hieroglyphics, which apparently he can read.
Eater of shadows, eater of souls, open his eyes.
This awakens the mummy. Edward first sends the mummy after Lee. Very sly mummy. With the help of a hanger, the mummy removes Lee's brains, in the same way it was done for mummification.
First thing the embalmers did was to stick a metal hook up his nose, and they dragged his brain out through his nostrils.
Susan finds these brains. Next, Edward sends the mummy to Susan. It stuffs her with flowers, another mummification technique.
This is where they cut him open so they could pull out all his innards. And then they stuff him with flowers, spices.
And then semi-wraps her. Andy is the one to find his sister Susan. He figures out about the mummy and that Edward controls it with the scroll. Angry that Edward killed his best friend and now sister, Andy ties him up and demands the scroll. Edward summons the mummy, but without difficulty, Andy dismembers and then burns the mummy. He then threatens to do the same to Edward if he does not tell him where to find the scroll.
It's the second drawer in the desk on the right.
Andy burns it and lets Edward live. What's this now?
No, couldn't distinguish a third dynasty sacred scroll from a piece of post-Alexandrine pictogram porn.
Edward summons another, a gift for Andy, a reunion with his sister and best friend. That was sweet. Timmy quickly starts to read the next story, stalling for a little more time. This is Cat from Hell and was written by Stephen King. Originally, it was going to be featured in Creepshow 2. I think it's better off in this one. A cab pulls up at night in front of a mansion. An old man in a wheelchair welcomes the man and has him tell the cab driver to wait.
The man says you should wait.
Well, with this guy's paying, I ain't going nowhere, Cal. Take your time.
This old man is Drogan of Drogan Pharmaceuticals. He has made a fortune on others' addictions. The man sitting across from him is the best hitman for hire money can buy, Holston. Drogan explains that he has hired Holston to kill a cat, the very one that has placed itself on Holston's lap. Assuring this is no joke, Drogan offers $50,000 now and $50,000 after the job is done. Drogan warns to take this hit seriously, that the cat has already killed 3 people in this house: his sister Amanda, her only friend Carolyn, and a man of all trades, Gage, who has been with the family for 20 years. The men never wanted the cat, but Amanda took it in. She was the first killed. At midnight, the cat knocked her down the stairs. Carolyn took over care of the cat, and at midnight, it suffocated her. Are we seeing a pattern here? After this, Gage was taking the cat to the vet to have it put down. At midnight, the cat caused Gage to roll the car. A week later, on the day George was buried, the cat came back. Drogan believes the cat was sent to punish him, seeing as how 5,000 cats were killed testing new medication. Holston agrees to kill the cat.
I'll kill your cat for you.
Good. Kill it, bury it, and bring me its tail so I can throw it in the fire and watch it burn.
And Drogan leaves in the cab he had wait in the driveway. Still not taking this task too seriously, because come on, it's a cat, Holston pulls out his suitcase of murder and sets off looking for the cat. However, this was not as easy as he thought it would be. After a couple attempts that did not go well, Holston ups his game.
The rest of your 9 lives are going in one lump sum.
He sets a trap and the cat comes. This really rattles Holston.
It's impossible. Fucking impossible. I had a dead beat on you.
I would feel bad, but come on, Holston is a hitman. The clock has hit midnight. In a panic, Holston shoots the clock, and the cat has had enough. This is my favorite death of the movie. The next morning, Drogan, feeling enough time has passed, returns home to find quite a surprise. And horrible timing. All of a sudden, the clock that had broken strikes midnight. Considering what happened to Holston, I'd say a heart attack was a nice way out. Timmy is barely able to convince Betty for one last story. Good thing she's a romantic.
But it's a love story, too.
Really?
Yeah.
Which one was that?
This last is called Lover's Vow. Preston is a struggling artist who was just fired by his agent due to selling no artwork for 4 months. He drowns his woes in the bar until closing. Jerry, the bartender and Preston's friend, closes shop and the two leave by way of the dark, scary alley. Great choice. As to be expected, they get attacked. What's unexpected is what attacked. Jerry is killed, Preston is spared, but has to make a vow.
In exchange for a promise. Got it? If I let you go, you must swear you'll never see your sorrow, never see your enemies, never tell anyone how I look, never repeat what I have said. promise forever.
Terrified, Preston heads toward home. He sees a woman walking alone. This is Carola. He scares the shit out of her by playing hero. Trying unsuccessfully to hail a cab, Carola has decided to walk. Preston tells her the streets are dangerous and invites her to his home to use his phone. She doesn't use the phone. She leaves the next day, but comes back, bag in tow. Carola has a friend who owns the hottest gallery downtown. Introductions are made, and Preston is now selling his work at this gallery. 10 years later, Preston is a very successful artist, and he and Carola have 2 children. Life is grand. Until one night, Preston shows Carola a clay gargoyle he has made. He explains all that happened the night they met. Carola is not happy, not understanding why he told her. Preston now sees why.
You promised you'd never tell!
This was actually a really cool transformation. Drawn from the room by horrible sounds, the children witness what happens. Preston notices they're looking a little bit different. Carola kills Preston and then takes her children, a rather tragic love story. This was based on a Japanese folk story by the name of Yuki Onna, except Carola in this story is a ghost, not a gargoyle. The time has come for poor Timmy. As Betty comes for him, he says he has one more, and this one has a happy ending.
It's the really best one of all because it has a happy ending. A really happy ending.
None of the stories in that book have a happy ending.
He tells of his own escape with the help of marbles, Betty's unfortunate landing, and a preheated oven. Way to go, Timmy. Tales from the Darkside, the movie, is actually considered by many, including Tom Savini, to be Creepshow 3. So apparently back in the day, they wanted to turn Creepshow into a TV series, but because of multiple reasons, they weren't able to do that. So instead, they retitled it Tales from the Darkside. This movie is a lot of fun, and it has some big name actors. The stories were creative and executed beautifully. I'll be giving it a solid 3 coffins. As always, thank you all who watch these videos. I enjoy making them and I hope you enjoy watching. If you do enjoy this kind of content, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, stick around for a while, and I'll see you next time.